voice. Today, we are going to respect the voice in any affair, especially in the music industry as regards the PMAN organization. Godwin Egbe is my name, and I have the pleasure to welcome Charlimo. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It was one time the chairman, I hope I'm correct, or
Vice President.
Vice President.
National Vice President.
Yes. Could you please let us into, give us a clear picture of what's going on in PMAN?
Well, my name is IMOLOAME, like he said rightly. I was the National Vice President of PMAN when Chief Mrs. Christiasian Igbo, who is late now, was the president. And before that, I was chairman of Lagos State PMAN, which was between the years of 1994 to 1996. I became the national vice president from 1997 to 1999. So we were very abreast with all the progress that happened in PMAN. And PMAN, by the way, is the performing Performing Musicians Association of Nigeria. But it was shortened to that because it was difficult to put the employers. It's supposed to be the Performing Musicians Employers Association,
which was
Nigeria. That's the original. That's what it is. It's an employers association. And but we give kudos to the founding fathers who thought it wise that musicians should have a union that will speak for it and be able to stand for all that the needs of musicians will be across Nigeria, and all of that they did up till when things started going wrong recently. Unfortunately, there are misunderstandings in the union, and we hope that it is getting settled.
Is it getting settled or is it getting hotter?
Well, it is getting settled.
As at yesterday, the news we got was that's why this program is on.
Yes.
Is that they are still disorganized.
Well, like everything that happens in Nigeria, the PMAN problem was mainly a problem of presidents resigning. It started
who was that?
Yeah, it started with a guy called Bolaji Rosiji. He was not able to continue at some point because, according to him, the problems of PMAN, weighed he was
influence,
affecting his health and all of that. So he resigned. That's when T-Mac came in. He float is respected musician in Nigeria. But when T-Mac came in, there were voices that thought he was not the right person to go there because he was not elected. There was a man called Engineer Dureke. Engineer Dureke was the vice president to Rosiji, and he felt because he was more into the music engineering that it would be better for a popular face, known and active, should come there. So he invited T-Mac to come there. That was the first problem. Then later on, he escalated to where people who did not even have business with being even musicians, talk less of being membership of PMAN, now came in and took over. And it stemmed also from the fact that a lot of musicians thought they needed a leader who is already rich. Because in their own feeling...
And Ayo Rosiji was very rich.
Of course.
He built studios in
all the state, in most of the state chapters. But can you find any today? You can't. So what am I saying? Musicians naturally believe that you should spray them, you should spoil them, should also, they also believe that if anybody will run the administration that will protect their trade, they should be people who will bring their father's money or their family's money and begin to share to them. So in that belief, they go more for those who say, if we want a president, we should find a rich person to be our president. And that was how he started to have faults. Now, in 2016, some of us were co-opted into coming to resolve all these big problems. And we started it. And we went to the we went to the Labor, the Ministry of Labor. We are Ngige, sat with all of us, and we resolved the problems. And we now said the answer was to have a general election that will bring all factions, because there were factions now. Up to about 5 or 6 are there, but I can't remember. We brought all of them together, and they all signed that they wanted resolution of that problem. We now had an election in 2017. That election came with agreement that these were elected people that will run the union. Do you know that before 1 year, before 7 months after, the man that was elected president resigned? As that one resigned, the first vice president...
Who was that?
That was Kirsten Okoro. Kirsten Okoro resigned. Then Gbenga Falokpe took over. Gbenga Falokpe got there and discovered that, this presidency that you are dealing with, PMAN. PMAN, by the way, you have intelligent, creative musicians. And he couldn't cope at some point. He also threw in the paper. That was second vice president now. What do you call, what was the next? Okay, there's first vice president, sorry. Gbenga was first vice president. Ojogunowa, who was the second vice president, said, he was not going to go on. That he had other things to do because he was contesting for elections in Kogi State, where he comes from. He wanted to go to the House of Reps. He said he would not have time to take that position. So they brought in the treasurer to now become the president, the person of a man we call Uncle P. Uncle P now came in to be, from a treasurer, he now became the president. So all was not looking good. Pretty looked at this whole confusion, and it became again another opportunity to get
take over power,
take over consent judgment. So while they were busy not paying attention, he got another consent judgment to say that he is now the president of PMAN based on the acrimony and all the problems on the ground. If it was not the resignations, which I was saying now, if the resignations were not the problem, PMAN would have remained a body that will have a sequence of leadership.
So let us into the secret. Why did Ayo Rosiji resign?
Ayo Rosiji resigned because he was stressed by the kind of situation he met. You see, when you are looking at the music body from outside, you'll be seeing beautiful people, singing people, enjoyment and all of that. But when you go into the proper administration of these people, you find that it is really difficult.
Now let's look at the era of Christy Igbokwe and Onyenka Wenu. What comments do you have to place on that?
First, I will separate them. Onyenka Wenu was my chairman in Lagos State. I was vice chairman to Onyenka before I became chairman of Lagos State PMAN. I am not a Yoruba person, but I was vice president to Onyenka Wenu in Lagos State. Then it was the performance of our tenure that brought Christian to come and speak to me that they should bring me to the national. And I became vice president to Christian Igbokwe. All of them had national awards. If they gave me even just the M of the OMN that some of them got, and OFR, and they gave me only the O, it would have been that Charlimo got something, but I worked closely with them. They're fantastic people. That's why I told you I'll separate them. Chris Yesian was my president in the national office. They did so well, two of them. They were exceptionally, very respected people, and they knew they knew the reason that you become leader in such body, which was to protect the trade of musicians.
Integrity too.
Yeah, integrity. To protect the trade of musicians in Nigeria. So they didn't go there because they want to go and sell PMAN land or to go and make money for themselves.
I don't understand that statement.
We will get there. We will get there. So these people we are mentioning, they sacrificed everything that they had to make sure that there was growth in the industry.
Yes.
So if we set parameters of growth of the Nigerian music industry within the time these people reigned in their various areas, you discover there was enormous progress. Not like now that nothing is happening. Because those people, they went out deliberately to seek how government can help the growth of musicians.
My viewers, I'm talking to Charlimo, who is a veteran, and he's talking to us about his present crisis in PMAN. Charles IMOLOAME Charlimo, former National Vice President of PMAN, former Director of the Board of COSON, currently National Coordinator of the Nigerian Music Club himself. So now tell me something about PMAN and COSON. What's the relationship?
Well, the relationship between PMAN and COSON is PMAN is a musicians union. COSON is a collective management authority organization, which means the works that members of PMAN do, COSON helps to go to places where those copyrights are used to collect monies on their behalf. So that means that COSON has a responsibility of gathering whatever monies that a musician, is entitled to, both in Nigeria and abroad, for the benefit of that particular person who has done that intellectual property, or what we call copyright. And COSON interfaces with bodies of like WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, and CSAC. That is, CSAC is like is likened to like FIFA. CSAC is the Confederation of International Society of Authors and Composers in Africa. So those bodies COSON belongs to, helps them to collect monies from other nations where works of our musicians in Nigeria are used, and they pay same.
So would you give them a pass mark for job well done?
I belong to the COSON.
I belong to COSON.
Then
I belong to
then you see, COSON has problems with the NCC. That's the regulator of the collecting societies and even other bodies in Nigeria. Apart from the one for the music, there are the ones for the film and the one for the writers and all of that. They are the regulators. We have a problem with them right now because certain things happened in 2019, 2020 that were seen by the NCC as not proper. So since then we have not been licensed to collect monies in COSON. But there's another body called the MCSN, Music Copyright Society of Nigeria, who are the ones that
That's older than COSON.
Well,
MCSN is older.
You cannot say, well, if you say older in the sense that it was operative, but it was not a national asset.
But it was operating in London?
Mayor Ayilaron.
US?
Yeah, it was PRS of London that was wanted PMR. I'm sorry, MCSN to go.
MCSN.
So they had a lawyer in Nigeria called Barrister Giwa, who they were paying those monies to in trust that they should pay to other, or users of the copyright that they use. They were paying it to Barrister Giwa. And if MCSN was even existing at that time, it was not like the way COSON came. It was out of the need that Nigerian musicians should have a body that collects for them, was when COSON came. But when COSON was coming, MCSN quickly came out to say, oh, we have been existing since. But they were collecting some monies. According to some copyright owners, they said they never got those monies in those years that they had existed, that you are talking about. Yeah, because you are saying they have been existing.
Yes.
As they were existing, not everybody got.
You are a performer.
Yes.
Have you benefited?
I benefited from.
I benefited.
I benefited from COSON. Oh yes, I benefited from COSON. Don't forget, I was a director on the board of COSON. We were interim directors on the board of COSON. I became a director on the PMRS board.
What's PMRS?
Performing and Mechanical Rights Society of Nigeria. It was chaired by Mrs. Keji Okunowo, Chief Mrs. Keji Okunowo, who was then the MD of Sony Music. She came from Polygram to start up Sony Music. And those were the people who made it possible for us to have copyright associations in Nigeria, because she used her influence then and spoke to Dia, General Dia then, who was the Supreme Military Council, whatever.
Yes.
So she used her connection then to be able to make it possible that we had the PMRS. PMRS was the one that transformed to COSON. Why did it become COSON? Because at some point we said, let's unify everything. So we wanted MCSN and PMRS to come together and form one body. So that's why we took Copyright Society of Nigeria. I'm sorry, COSON, Copyright Society of Nigeria. So it looks like MCSN, Music Copyright Society of Nigeria.
Now let's change the tempo a little.
Okay.
The music industry in Nigeria, strength and growth. Music, particularly genres called Afrobeat, has become one of the Africans' leading creative problems.
Do you call it a problem?
Yes, because as of today, nobody is receiving money, nobody is promoting, and what have you.
Well, the genres are confused by the bodies that give awards in America called, what's that award that they have in America?
What's it? Nationally,
the American award, what do they call it? They are the ones, because they don't even hear our language, they don't know how Afrobeat sounds. They just generalize the whole thing and say everything is Afrobeat. You know? Fela is the creator of Afrobeat. And we know Afrobeat when we hear it. And that is what was that award? Sorry,
MTV?
No, Grammy Award.
Grammy Awards.
Grammy. Oyibo, how can Oyibo know what is happening in Africa? And he comes and says everything is Afrobeat. Even if I play my music, that is Afrobeat. High life or Afrobeat. So that is where the confusion comes from. The people that I know that play Afrobeat today, I will tell you, it's Femi, Shehu, Burna Boy, maybe Dede Mabiaku, and all of those who were linked to the Afrobeat thing. Yes, some other people do. I'm sorry.
Would you say Davido is playing Afrobeat?
Davido is just trying his hands on everything that he can do, and he's succeeding with it. He recently is playing Kwokerikwo with our brother Brad Chimezi. So,
okay,
and that is good. I commend that.
Afrobeat continues to dominate global artists.
Yes,
like Burna Boy,
Burna Boy,
Wizkid,
Davido,
Rema, Aska. So what advice do you have for the young talents now who we are brewing in Nigeria?
Well, the advice I have for young talent is not to give up. Creativity is like that. You keep working at it, get focused, and do not let anybody discourage you. When you even see what the elders are doing in the industry, learn from them. Where they make mistakes, point them out to them. Let them know that they need to pave a way for the future of the younger ones who are going to come up later.
Afrobeat has grown.
Yes.
The sexuality we used to see on videos are no longer present.
Yes. That is because also that Afrobeat does not really encourage all those sexualities of getting yourself naked and cool. Yeah, you can dress in vulgar ways, but you know, when a regular Afrobeat dancer is dancing, you know that it's going to the rhythm of that type of beat.
Well, I have been talking with IMOLOAME, Charlimo, and of course, if you're on Facebook, you can always see his display, and former National Vice President of PMAN, former Director on the Board of COSON. Godwin Egbe is my name. I want to say thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.